Hey guys, Joanna here. So today I want to talk to you about the importance of discipline. I think if discipline were a superpower, we should all strive for that to be our superpower because that is actually a superpower that we can all have. You know, like so many times, like speed and strength and agility and things of the body are the things that we we can't have, and some of us are a little bit more blessed than others, and you can work really hard at having something, so like one day you'll be faster and more agile and stronger than you are. And truthfully, it's one of those things that you can compare yourself against another, and another can compare themselves against you. And discipline is one of those things that you just can't compare. And also, discipline is one of those things that, as a person walking a spiritual path, and if you're listening to me, you're probably someplace between Christian and Buddhist and pagan and who knows what else you are, because the reality is that I'm an interfaith minister and I am interested in new thought. I'm a new thought minister and I'm a metaphysician. And so if you're listening to me, if you've been listening to me this whole time, then chances are that you probably think someplace along the same lines. And the reality is that Jesus and Buddha and Osho and all these other people, like, they're really metaphysicians and they're just spiritualists, right? Like, they didn't have a religion. If anything, like, Jesus was a Jew, and Buddha was a materialist. And, so, like, this is where they come from, but this is not where they ended up. And so, like, the number one thing that, people who are newly walking a spiritual path, or maybe right in the middle of a spiritual path, is that we think that discipline has no sense or place in our world, and that's just not even close to true. Like, there is a difference. So we get confused by that difference, and the difference is this, is that some of us think control is discipline. And that's just not true. Like, control is from the ego. That's what the being that we create that like puts itself out there as us to protect us, to make openings for us. That is our ego. And our ego serves a good function. It's not something that should be like condemned or destroyed or any of those things. It has to be embraced and enjoyed and loved just as much as your soul and your spirit do. And so, control is one of those things that happens when ego runs amok. And it's a way of manipulating ourselves. Discipline, on the other hand, is not. Discipline is a way of learning about ourselves and learning about the world and really making our way into the world as the big, bright, beautiful people that we are. So here's how I define discipline, and a lot of other people define it the same way too. Like Jesus and the Buddha, they define it the same way. Osho, I had no idea how much I appreciated Osho until I started reading some of his stuff. So here it is that discipline comes from the word disciple. Disciple just means to learn from. If you're a Christian, you recognize, like, disciple, because we all want to be disciples of Christ. If you are a warrior or a soldier, you recognize discipline, and you also recognize discipleship because you're used to a chain of command. Well, discipline is just being present and learning from someone else. And it creates order in your inner world as well as order in your external world. Because the truth of the matter is that our souls and our spirits are so chaotic. And if we want to grow, if we want to be more than what we currently are, having some discipline and learning to tame the chaos is how we start to be more like God and to be more like the Buddha or more like Jesus, or just even more of ourselves. Having discipline and creating order in a chaotic atmosphere is what allows us to rely on our ego less and our spirit more. And so, like, I think if you're gonna have a superpower, don't worry so much about speed or agility or strength, and really, really, really focus on some self-discipline. You know, learn the difference between self-control and self-discipline. When you're manipulating yourself, that's control. When you're being disciplined and you're striving, that is a blessing, and it's a gift of the Spirit. And that's truly one of the things that when we talk about putting on an armor for God or letting down our defenses, that's what we're doing, is we're exercising discipline and making that as big as it could possibly be in our world. So, like, if that's the only thing that you take away from the day, is that discipline's not a bad thing, it's a pretty good thing, it's a pretty kick-ass thing, then, like, that's the message. And discipline is all about learning about who you are, learning about how to bring your ego into service of your spirit, and really paying attention to what you follow, what you are a disciple of, and who you want to be tomorrow, who you want to be today, who you want to be a year from now or 10 years from now, and really becoming the people that we see ourselves as. So thanks for listening to me, and have yourself a great day. I'll talk to you later.